Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome back to Steelers Almighty. Got all 22 today. I know we didn't have a game, but that doesn't mean we don't still keep putting out this all 22 content for you guys, man. So today what we're doing is we're looking at the Steelers' inside run game. Basically what we did was broke down 1st and 10 plays that the Steelers run in between the tackles. Now, we know that the Steelers' run game, for the most part, has been a struggle. But there's some good stuff and some bad stuff on these runs, and so I think it's important that we look at all of it and emphasize what the Steelers can continue to do if they want to run the ball inside against these football teams that, again, a lot of them are just saying, no, we're not going to allow you to run the football. Well, the Steelers got to be able to run it, and you got to be able to run it inside. And there's some things that they can do better, and we'll show you. Maybe some of these plays we've seen through our all-22 throughout the season so far, but we'll go through and we'll break it down anyway. So let's get into it. But before we do, remember to like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in the comments section, and always hit that notification bell so you know exactly when Steelers Almighty content comes out. Let's get into this, people. So first play here against the Jets again, it's 1st and 10. Now, maybe this is something subtle. I don't know. But me personally, I just don't like that. This is a run play. Maybe you're trying to trick them, I guess, but nobody's in a 2-point or in a 3-point stance. Everybody's in a 2-point stance. Again, maybe it's just me being old school. Maybe they're trying to trick them. But if you're trying to run the ball inside, it's like sometimes it's just okay. Just get in a stance. Just get in a regular 3-point stance. Come out, fire off the ball. But they don't. They don't, and that's fine. So we're looking at inside here. And look at the double teams. This is what we're going to emphasize a lot on is double teams. We got a double team here, and we have a double team here. So let's look at that. First, we'll start with McCormick and Troy Fautanu. Footwork by McCormick isn't great. Okay? If you're wanting to double team, step with your foot towards the man first. He uses that one. So that's number one. But then go attack the guy. And it's like he waits for him to come get him. I'm like, just go attack him. Go attack him. But he waits, then he throws his shoulder. Okay, good. But now you got to go get movement. And he's off balance. And see, that's the thing. Look how his body turns. You're on a double team, you got to stay square. The key to it is hip to hip. If you're hip to hip, you can get movement. But you see as the play goes on, he throws that right foot way upfield to try to drive block, and you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to get off balance. See, and now his second foot, you see that second foot slides behind him. Even if he drives that right foot up, okay, fine. Well, then you got to bring this foot, and it's got to go a long way, which is not ideal for drive blocking because you're pushing somebody that's pushing against you. You don't want your feet to be off the ground. That you want them to have the least amount of air time as possible because you got to try to anchor. Well, he's got to bring his foot. Well, he doesn't do that. Look at that left foot. It just slides basically behind him. Well, that's at no time are you going to be – he's not going to be able to come off of this block and block that linebacker. Look how he's positioned. It's just not going to happen. Just not going to happen. And he doesn't. He comes off. He falls down because he's off balance. He's off balance. And Fautanu's got to get there because he's off balance. Falls down. But believe it or not, this is still a 5-yard gain because what he does do well is that he gets the defender's shoulder turned. And then Fautanu comes in and does his job on that backside and gets push. So while it's ugly, it's still effective. It's still effective. And 5 yards is 5 yards. You know, I'm never – first down, again, all these plays are on first down. You get 5 yards running on first down, I don't care what it looks like, to be quite honest with you. 5 yards is 5 yards. Could it be better? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean it's bad. Let's go to the other side. Zach Frazier and Siamalu. The only thing I don't like, Zach Frazier's first foot. I don't like it. I shouldn't say the only thing I don't like, but his first foot, it goes back. Versus to the man, it goes back. Siamalu steps with the right foot. Actually, nope. He kind of steps with that left foot sideways. This is inside zone. But they are hip to hip at contact. It's not a ton of movement, but your linebacker is coming downhill right now, so Siamalu's got to come off and block him. But initially, that's what you want. And you see him stand square and looking. It's like, yeah, don't get a ton of movement. But when your linebacker's coming downhill right now, you can't just sit around and wait. You can't just sit around and wait. Frazier stays engaged with his guy. Now, granted, he gets chopped down because McCormick falls down. But I'll take it. And like I said, it's 5 yards. Even with McCormick falling down, you know how a lot of times when I tell you guys, just get in the way? If you just get in the way, sometimes good things happen. Well, look at the middle linebacker right here. He's looking to come downhill, and McCormick just falls all over himself. But you know what he is? He's in the way. He's just in the way. So sometimes luck, better to be lucky than good. But like I've told you guys a million times, if you just get in the way, sometimes good things happen. And like I said, this is a 5-yard run play, ladies and gentlemen. I'll take 5 yards all day long. I will take 5 yards all day long. Right up the middle. I'll take it. Let's move on. Now, here we're on the goal line. So the goal line is going to be a little bit more congested. And what I mean by that is usually linebackers are at 4 to 5 yard depth. The Steelers are on the 3.5 yard line. Linebackers aren't going to line. On 1st and 10, Steelers are in, looks like 12 personnel. They're not going to be at 4 to 5 yards depth. They're going to try to come downhill. And you see them. They are close to the line of scrimmage. They're within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage. So this one's going to happen a lot quicker. Again, you go back to the snap. And again, if I'm being nitpicky about this, let me know. But you're on the 3.5, and the only people in 3-point stance are the 2 tight ends. They're the only ones. Nobody here in a 3-point stance. And you take Frazier out because he's got to snap the damn ball, but I don't know, guys. I mean, sometimes you have to run it when they know you're going to run it. And if that means I'm in a 3-point stance so I can get better leverage, then damn it, get in the damn stance. But that's just me. Again, we're looking at the inside. We're looking at these double teams right here. These two. We'll start on the right of the screen. We'll start with Zach Frazier and Siamalu. Zach Frazier steps back. Don't like that he steps back. But again, they're hip to hip. They are hip to hip on this play. Now you see the linebacker come downhill right away. So you're not going to get a ton of movement on the double team. You know how I always say, hey, you got to stay with the double team. The linebacker will come to you. Get the movement here first. Well, if guy's at 2.5 yards and he comes downhill right away, you got to go. And Siamalu goes. Now, he doesn't hit the guy. He doesn't hit him. But his feet get all tripped up here. And he trips over Zach Frazier's foot because Frazier ends up behind him. See, their legs have crossed right there? You can hardly see it, but right there, Frazier's leg is behind his. Rewind this just a bit. See? Siamalu's leg's there, and Frazier's leg comes behind him. And the problem is Zach Frazier, his footwork is not good here. You never want that. Never want that. But his hand placement is pretty damn good. And he gets over, but he gets pushed. And again, when your feet get tripped up, that's what's going to happen. You know, the guy gets leverage on him, but they kind of trip over each other's feet. And it's not great. Now, the guy that makes the play, obviously, is the backside, Jonnu Smith. If you just dive down in and do something, get in the guy's way. But, again, we're not emphasizing that today. Now let's go to McCormick and Faetanu. That's Quinnen Williams. I like it. I like it. Foot to foot. Again, I don't know. It's like you see Faetanu's right or left foot. It goes sideways, okay, but why is Frazier's? Or not Frazier, but McCormick. I mean, there's the double team. He's right there. Steps with the wrong foot. And not a lot of power, but I like it. I take it. And again, the linebacker comes downhill immediately. Linebacker comes downhill immediately because you're only on the 3.5-yard line. Now, the problem is McCormick, you can't get hit in the chest. I like you seeing it, but when you come off, look how high he is. And the linebacker drives him right in his chest. Get low, get your pad level low, get some power. Now, again, his guy gets in on the play. But if Jaylen Warren's able to cut back here because Jonnu Smith gets in the way, who knows what this play can be. Or if he can just run right behind McCormick. The problem is McCormick gets stood up by a linebacker. Pops him right in the chest. That's not acceptable. Faetanu's got to do a better job of fighting, too. And keep pushing. Actually, it's not terrible by him. Hands on the back of his jersey. But the double team comes. McCormick's got to get lower. But this play gets blown up because of the backside. Not a whole lot those guys can do there. Okay, again, another first down play. 1st and 10, 12 personnel to the left. They got 7 in the box. So we motion. We do a ton of this. So we shift the formation, but it's just motion. And this is a good play. This is a good play by Arthur Smith right here, ladies and gentlemen. So you got Washington going to lead block. Jonnu Smith comes behind him. But look at here. Do we get any double teams? We actually don't. It's just an inside run. So there's no double teams on this play. So, but you get guys blocking back. You get Siamalu here. Everybody's blocking back on this. And this is a good play. See, McCormick. I like it. The guy's got that gap. We're going to block him down. Frazier, same thing. Then he goes to the linebacker. Faetanu comes off. I think his path could be a little bit more shallow, and he gets confused on who to block. But he knows. Nope, not him. And maybe that's the technique, and I kind of think that it is that Faetanu comes off and runs at the linebacker and puts a hand up to make him think that he's going to block him. So maybe he's not confused on who to block. Just puts a hand up, because he never really even turns his head to look at him. I like it. Put a hand up. Nope. I just need you to hesitate for a second. And that's exactly what happens. Then he goes and gets 44. Doesn't get a ton, but he gets enough. I like it. McCormick's doing his job. Frazier's doing his job. Siamalu's kind of at a stalemate, but that's all you need. Your guy ain't making the play. That's all you need is a stalemate. DK Metcalf comes down inside. He gets his guy. You see Jonnu Smith come over. Jonnu doesn't do a ton right here. but he's in the way. He's in the way. Boom, boom. And it's Jaylen Warren and the cornerback, Sauce Gardner, and Sauce didn't want any part of that. Contact, and let's drag him for another 5 yards. Love it. Love it. Like I said, McCormick right here, that's one of the key blocks. There's a lot of them on this play. But getting movement on this one technique, look how much movement he gets. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And then Faetano with the key block. I mean, this is him just getting a hand and pushing that guy opens this thing up. Boom, right there. Right there. Opens it up. Boom. Again, it's not a ton, but sometimes you don't have to. It's just enough. Just like Jonnu Smith. And then DK gets in on that safety. And then look at our man Frazier. And this is why I like Zach Frazier so much. Zach Frazier goes and hunts for contact. He goes, my job is the backside backer. He gets him there, and then he chases him. He's like, nope, you ain't making the tackle. Nope, you're still not making the tackle. Nope, you're still not making the tackle. Like, never, you are not getting in on this play. I don't care what you want to do. You are not getting in on this play. I love it. I love it. All right. So it appears the Steelers are in 11 personnel. My man Ben Skoranek is tight next to Darnell Washington. Let's look inside here. Again, the emphasis that we are today, double teams inside. Steelers are running inside the tackles. So let's start with McCormick and Frazier. Both step with the right foot, although Frazier takes kind of a false step going back. I'd like to see this foot, instead of going back, move forward. It doesn't have to move forward a ton, but just a little bit. But it goes backwards. That doesn't help you, especially when you're trying to double team somebody and get hip to hip. But they get there. They get there. The thing about McCormick's way too high here. Because you already see him. McCormick is so worried about this guy that he's looking at him right now. I mean, you can tell he's looking at him right now. First step, you've got his eyes on him. And he doesn't drive. Now, granted, the guy comes downhill, but you'd like to see a little bit more movement. But we can take it. Again, it doesn't always have to be pretty. We'll take it. And then he clips him. So good job. Good job. He's just too high. I mean, look, you're too high here. He's almost standing straight up. And again, he's not parallel. Here's the difference. Here's the difference. Look at how his feet are on a double team. And look at Siamalu's on the double team. You can't block like that. That's because he's basically, for instance, what if this linebacker goes over the top? What if he doesn't shoot this gap and he scrapes and goes over the top? Okay? Then our man Zach Frazier is going to have to come off and block him, and there is no way that McCormick is going to be able to hold off this guy. It's impossible. It's impossible. So, but this is what happens. And they do a decent job. It works out in their favor, but you got to stay square. You got to stay square. Now, Siamalu and Broderick. Let's look at the footwork. And you see Siamalu's square. I'd like him to step with his left foot first, but he doesn't. Broderick takes a step back, and that's the key. He takes this. He steps with the right foot, But that foot goes back versus forward. And then this foot goes way forward, and then he's not square. But he puts his face in there, and he doesn't give up on the play. But they don't get movement. Now, linebacker, that's partly Siamalu's fault too. He could have waited another instance, and they could have got movement. But the linebacker starts to meander down in there. But Broderick's got to be square here, and he's not. And that's the reason that he's not square is because of his footwork. Because that foot goes back. Steps with the right, but it goes back. And then he brings that left one way forward, and now you're not square. So then when he does have to come off, he's not in position. You'd like to see Broderick's body over here. Even if he's just working on half of his body here, fine. But now he's on the side. Maybe somebody, a better D tackle, if he, goes arm under, he gets through. And you see him there. I mean, you could call that holding if you want. You could call holding on that play. Now they don't. But it's close. But Broderick doesn't quit. And that's what I'll take. Now, granted, we're talking about inside runs, but look at Ben Skoranek and Calvin Austin on this play, ladies and gentlemen. Ben Skoranek basically blocks two people. He basically blocks two people. Got a corner and a safety that are coming in there, and he blocks both of them. Calvin Austin sticking his nose in there. Love the cut by Jaylen Warren, by the way. But here, you'd like to see Jaylen Warren just hit it. Once he sidesteps, just go downhill. He starts to spin. Just instead of spinning, just run in there. And maybe the guy misses the tackle, but he starts to spin early. So, but overall, this is not terrible. Technique's not sound, but this is not terrible. This is not terrible, people. Got to do more. Got to do more. Again, that's a 4-yard gain. And anytime you can get 4 yards, I'm taking it. Now, again, Steelers are here. Steelers are in 13 personnel this time with Scotty Miller as the wide receiver. So they got 1 million guys in the box. They basically got 5 guys on the line, 4 behind it. This is Sauce Gardner, and he's technically not in the box, but there you go. You got 9 guys up there. So, again, this is a first down play that the Steelers are in. Skoranek goes across the screen. They slide with him. Steelers are going inside. Let's go back. And again, make sure that we're on the same page. We're emphasizing double teams here, double teams here. Let's see what happens. Let's start with Siamalu and Frazier. So we want to see get hip to hip and get some movement. Oof. Bad hand placement initially. Siamalu grabs him around the waist, so you're not going to be able to move him. But they are hip to hip. So he's trying to shoot the gap, and they get hip to hip. Now, I don't know if you want to call that holding because you see his hands. I mean, they are wrapped around Quinnen Williams here. I mean, there they are. You can see them. I mean, he is grabbing him. But a lot goes on in there, man. A lot goes on in there. The most important part is Siamalu's in position. Now, his hand placement is horrific, but him and Frazier, they're in position. They're in position. So you'll take it. They get movement. They get movement. Now, they don't get to come off. Frazier comes off late. But part of that is because he can't come off because Siamalu's got to replace his hands. And while that's movement, and I'll take it because, again, they didn't call holding, so I don't care. but it is holding. But you get movement. I mean, it is what it is. And he basically picks him up and carries him back. I'll take it, ladies and gentlemen. I will take it. Frazier can't get out into the backer, but he gets his hands on him, and Frazier's guy don't make the play, does he? Nope, because Zach Frazier's not going to quit. I might get out late, but my job is 44. And you aren't making the tackle. I don't care. You aren't making that tackle. Don't care who else makes the tackle, but the guy I'm responsible for is not making it. Let's go back to the other side with McCormick and Faitanu. Again, the footwork. I get it's inside zone, but just step towards the man. But they don't, so it is what it is. Do they get hip to hip? Yes. Now, here's bad technique by McCormick. Comes off, and he's there. You're fine here. Now let's just keep getting movement. Keep your feet, keep a good base, and just keep driving. Just keep a good base because this is good. Initial contact and keep driving. But he doesn't. He does that same thing. You can see his shoulders turn, so he's brought that right. He's trying to, basically it's called, it's a couple different things. They call it spin, a spin wheel, turn gap, and that's what he's trying to do on this D tackle. He's trying to turn and get his body because they're trying to run the ball right here. So he's trying to turn his body and shield him off. You can't block that way because you got to get straight and get narrow or get a wide base and drive people there. Because if the backer comes here, you get him. If he goes there, he gets him. But if you turn this and the backer goes there, who's going to block him? Or, excuse me, if the backer goes here and you turn this, well, who's going to block him? You just can't do that. And see, now he pushes him, and he's too high. And that's the thing about McCormick. He's got to get a lower stance. Faitanu comes off and does a good job, good push, and he misses the backer, though. That's his guy. Got to get to him. You got to get to him. He sees it, does a good job initially, like I said, coming off. Good position there. Good position. But you got to redirect quicker, and you got to get him. And then you see what I'm talking about with McCormick. When you don't get the push and you just try to physically will the guy, you're not going to be able to do that. It's good D tackles, and he can't here. He can't. Now, I get that Pat Freiermuth gets whipped, but we're just talking about the inside guys. This one's not such a good one by these guys. Zach Frazier is pretty good. Siamala holds, but on the other side, it's not good. Because McCormick gets stood up, and you see him standing up. Well, what are you doing? I mean, he's standing straight up here. And it doesn't get better. And then his guy makes the play. So, a lot of things that got to get better here. A lot of things that got to get better on that one from Faitanu and McCormick. It's just not a great play. It's actually decent running by Jalen Warren to be able to get the yards that he could get. All right, against the Seahawks. Again, emphasize everything 1st and 10. In between the tackles, we go across the screen with Jonnu. Now they slant on the Steelers. They slant here. Right here, he's basically in a one technique, and he's trying to get across his face. And he does. But they pass it off. Excellent. Inside zone. But let's start. Broderick's got to get all the way down in there. That's a 3 technique. You're not blocking the end. You got to get down in there. And the thing that I'll notice is hand placement. Like, It's on the back of the man's jersey. They're not teaching you to block by grabbing the back of somebody's shoulder. You got to get your hands inside. So what happens? He gets stood up. First of all, he's high. And he doesn't make first contact. Look at his arms. And right there. That's the first thing. You don't make first contact, and then you try to duck your head in there, that's not blocking somebody. That's not blocking somebody. Frazier and Ciamalo do a good job of passing the slant off. They do a good job. Frazier tries to go up, but by this time the play's blown up on the backside because they're trying to run inside. Now, you see this as a running back. I don't know, maybe he can bounce it. And that's the thing, is like you see this right now. You're just getting the ball as a running back. Maybe you bounce it outside. Maybe you bounce it backside. Or you see something. I don't know, but it's a cluster in there, and we're not getting no movement. Ciamalo gets stood up, even though they pass it off, and he sees it. Just not a lot of movement in there. McCormick on the backside. Backer comes to him. He kind of just catches the block. But we don't get anything inside. They're trying to run right here. They're trying to run the football right in here, and we don't get any movement. It starts off being bad with Broderick. Ciamalo's there. Doesn't get a ton of push. But also, our man, Jonnu Smith, comes on the backside and gets blown up because he doesn't want that contact. It's just, at some point, you got to stop having him do that. So, this is a cluster. Seattle wins. All right. We got 12 personnel, Hayward in the game. A lot of guys in the box here for Seattle. Again, it's his 1st and 10. We're on the 10-yard line. They got 8 up there. And this is a safety. They got a lot of guys up there. But he backs off. Go in motion. Again, we're running inside. So let's start from right to left. Let's start here. I mean, this is almost no double team at all. I mean, McCormick, does he touch the guy? Yeah, he puts his hands on his shoulder and then immediately comes. Here's the thing. We say the same stuff, but it's a point of emphasis. Get movement here. Here's your backer. He will come to you. If you're trying to run the ball, I promise this linebacker is not just going to stand there. He's going to do something. If the ball is coming this direction, he's going to come over here to try to make the tackle. So you can wait until he does that. In the meantime, here's your responsibility. And he does nothing. So this is Faetano just one-on-one, and he does a really good job initially. The problem is Super Hayward doesn't do anything, and he gets chased down. But Faetano does a great job here because this is basically just one-on-one. It's supposed to be a double team. It's one-on-one. Now McCormick goes up to the backer, catches him. See the linebacker is trying to shuck him. In McCormick's arms, you see how wide they are? Okay. Now he's trying to work him back inside, but look how high he is. And look at the leverage the linebacker has. Look at the leverage. That makes a difference. But he's in front, and he stays in front because McCormick, contrary to what some people believe, he's pretty athletic, and he's a strong guy. So he stays in front because they're running the ball downhill. They're running right behind him. So the linebacker doesn't want to choose a side because if he chooses a side, the guy's going to run the other direction, which helps McCormick. But this is a good job by those two. Again, start off at the 10-yard line. And we're going downhill. We'll take it. We'll take it. It's a 7-yard gain. Let's go to the other side. Zach Frazier just basically got the nose by himself. I thought they would double team, but they don't. He's just got the nose by himself, and he just clears him out of there. He just clears him out of there. Like, I got you. One-on-one. My hands are inside. I got on your outside shoulder, your inside shoulder plate. I got you. And big hole created. Nope, you can't get back in front. Nope, you are not going to make the tackle. That's what I love about Zach Frazier. When he gets on a guy, he's like, nope, you're not making the tackle. Absolutely love it. Again, 7-yard gain inside. 7-yard gain inside. Don't have to like the technique by McCormick and Faetanu is perfect here, actually. This is what you want. Again, you can say, well, this guy made the tackle. Well, he makes initial contact 4 yards down the field. If a D tackle isn't making initial contact 4 yards down the field, again, look where the ball is. Fine. If your initial contact's 4 yards down the field, you did your job, offensive lineman. You did your job. I'll take it. And while McCormick doesn't help on the double team at all, okay, fine. He goes up to the backer, and he's in the way. Not great technique, but he's in the way. He's in the way. I'll take it. I'll take it. Good, solid play on first down. Now, this is late in the game here where Mason Rudolph is in, but the starting offensive line is still in the game. Again, Spencer Anderson's in there. Siamalu's out. Aaron Rodgers is out. And this is just a straight inside zone where, again, McCormick needs to give a little bit more of a hand here because, again, he's got time. I know that backer is on his way, but he's got a little time. Give more than that. I mean, he literally just puts his hand on the guy. Like, give him something. I mean, that's nothing. But Faetanu does a good job here. And again, by this time, the game is over, so they're playing ultra soft defense, and that play ends up bouncing outside. But it's a good job. That's a good job. So, and this play goes for a lot of yards, and it actually helps the Steelers because the Steelers couldn't run the ball much in this game. That helped their yards per carry. And like I said, by this time, the game's already over. All right, against the Patriots, Steelers, 12 personnel here. Okay, they got 7 guys in the box because they aren't convinced that the Steelers can run the football on us. So let's look here. And let's see what happens. Rodgers looks it over. Let's go. Okay, so we don't double on Faetanu. It's inside zone. We don't double. So let's see McCormick. Let's see what this foot does. Good. Steps with the proper foot. Except it goes back, but not necessarily forward. But his hands, he comes off initially. Take it. The problem is that he doesn't drive his feet. It's inside zone, so it's fine that guy stays there. You want to take him that direction, but he's bent over at the waist. Then he gets super high. And when you're this high, he's standing straight up and down here, the guy's going to get leverage on you. And he does. I mean, look how high he is. But partly is because his hand's inside, McCormick's hands are outside. I don't know. This is the definition of getting stood up. That is the definition of getting stood up. And then the guy discards him. Now, luckily, on the backside, there's a lot more going on. But he's engaged, and he doesn't let the guy initially get around him. He does enough. It's not what you want. And Milton Williams is good, but you got to be better than this. Now, let's go back to Frazier and Siamalu. Double team. Frazier gives a hand. You see Frazier stick his hand in? See, that right there is enough to stun the guy, to initially shock the guy to help Siamalu. Siamalu gets over. They engage. Now we're moving. Now we're cooking. They engage. And this is Jaylen Warren. It's like, come on, bro. Where are you running? Where are you running? You missed it. And I get it. But here's the thing. He's got the ball right here. As a running back, if you're looking here, you see this. Just run over here. And he misses it. And he starts to. Look at that. Look at all this. He's got to go there. I get that you see the back of your guys' jerseys here, but there's daylight there. Run that way. And then he starts to come back, see? Like, sometimes you got to help your linemen. And this linebacker is running this direction with the tight end. So, and it's not like he doesn't see Jaylen Warren with the ball. He's turned his head. Look at his head. Look at his head right here. He's looking. He literally runs himself out of the play. So if Jaylen Warren cuts back here, who knows what happens on this play? Who knows? And Broderick is there. Broderick's right there. Look, Broderick makes contact. I don't like it. He's high, but he's engaged. So a guy's literally going to have to get Broderick off of him. Jaylen Warren just misses this one. But for the most part, line gets it done inside here. And like I say it all the time, the running backs can only do so much with the offensive line if the offensive line's not doing their job. But running backs have to help them too. Here's an opportunity. The line does its job. You got to run to daylight, my man. You just got to run to daylight. Look, we don't like what McCormick did, but it doesn't matter. You got to run to daylight. And it's just all there is to it. You know who else is down inside? Look at him. We're talking about as a receiver. Look at little Calvin Austin get in there, man. This is an inside zone play. Look at Calvin Austin sticking his nose in there. I love it. I love it. Good for him. We got to replace that. Can Scotty Miller do that? Can Roman Wilson do that? We'll find out. Love it. All right, this is first down, but we're on the 4. So, again, linebackers aren't going to be as deep. But technically they are. They're at normal depth here. So, they're at normal depth. Steelers are in 12 personnel. Again, it's first down. What are we doing? Are we going to get a double here and here? Let's see what happens. We'll start from the left to the right. Siamalu telling the plays. Aaron Rodgers changing it up. Which Aaron Rodgers has done a fantastic job of just playing quarterback for the Steelers this year. Just playing quarterback. Getting us in and out of the right plays. Let's go. So we don't get the double. Siamalu blocks the one technique, gets in front of him, Excellent. Doesn't get a ton of movement, but he's square, and that's how you got to block. Now, the guy falls off, but it's not really his fault because he's got the guy there. Jaylen Warren can't cut left because the backer is right there, and he sees him. Now, you want Siamalu to not fall off of this block, but you want to know why 14 is there? Just watch what he does. For all the people that say I'm too hard on Broderick, this is first down from the 4-yard line, and he doesn't block anybody. But, oh well. Is what it is. Moving on. Frazier comes off. He goes to the backer. I like what he does. Our man, McCormick, he's kind of playing patty cake with the guy. Comes off, his initial contact, again, you keep stepping back, and these 3 techniques are going to pop you in the chest. Again, this is a perfect example of it right here. His hand on the ground, in his chest, McCormick's outside. Watch it, we'll do it right here. Boom. In his chest. And McCormick still hasn't made contact with him yet. And so McCormick gets stood up. That's what I'm talking about. His foot, it goes sideways. Okay. Great. Step with the right foot. But you got to get that hand in there, man. And don't tell me because he's got his hand on the ground, so does his. They both have their hand on the ground. I get it. McCormick's is there. His is there. So don't come up with that excuse. It's not an excuse. You just got to do it. And he gets his shoulders turned. But he does wall the guy off. His guy's not making the play here. Now, he quits on it, which that's weak. Like I said, they're kind of playing patty cake because once you get to this position, then he just quits. But the guy kind of gives up. I'll give McCormick. His guy's not making that play. It's good wall off. But when you got a left tackle that literally blocks nobody, and this is why. Run the play back. Siamalu's not great, but he's in front of the guy. And you see Jaylen Warren right there looking. And he's like, well, I can't go left because nobody's blocking him. So I got to come back right. And Siamalu lets him off the hook. So I don't know. If we get the left tackle blocking somebody, look at DK Metcalf up in the right corner. But got to do something. We're close. It's close, people. It's close. Come out again. 1st and 10. Only 6 in the box. Little dummy motion. They fake a blitz. Frazier sees it, starts calling it out. They're changing stuff. Roger can't hear. Siamalu tells him what's what. Pointing around. Backers are coming. See, they disguised it early, but the backers are coming. They see it. So what do we do from right to left? First of all, Broderick gets off the snap way late. The ball is snapped. He still hasn't moved. Ball is snapped. He's the last one off. Okay. But he's got to get inside. He doesn't help, and I'm going to say just watch what he does. Okay. No need to go further. Let's go to Siamalu. Expecting the double team. Doesn't get it. Helps inside. Him and Zach Frazier do a good job. Frazier sees the blitz, picks it up, gets hit, gets driven back some, but he sees it, gets in the way. That's not the problem. These two look like they want to go on the backside. They look like they just want to lay down together here. I mean, this is when it was bad. I'm like, okay. McCormick should be ashamed of himself. Just literally look at it. He should be ashamed of himself. Man steps right over him. He tries to leg whip him, which is illegal. You see? He tries to leg whip him. He just dives on the ground, tries to leg whip him. It doesn't work. And his man just steps right around him and makes the tackle. Faetanu's not any better. Faetanu is not any better. You see the linebacker, just run and block him. Instead, they end up laying down together next to each other. Pathetic. Pathetic. This is the kind of stuff we're talking about on the backside. Now, you also say, hey, Jaylen Warren, he doesn't even get an opportunity to get started, but Jaylen Warren, you see his path, maybe keep going. You see him running this way, maybe keep going. You know? He turns it up right into, I'm sure he's not expecting for his left guard or his right guard to just be laying on the turf, right at the snap. But that's what happens. And even though Broderick doesn't block anybody, maybe he does. If Jaylen Warren, maybe he can hit somebody, but I'm guessing that your tackle is not supposed to come off, throw a flipper, turn around and look. Just not a good play. Steelers, again, 12 personnel. And maybe they fix this to where they're not going to have Jonnu and Pat Freiermuth out there. We're trying to run the ball on first down. They've switched it up. They got 7 in the box. Again, they're going to keep those 2 high safeties. Teams are just not convinced the Steelers can run the football on them. So here we are. First down. That safety starts creeping down. They're disguising coverage. You see him creeping down over here. They're going back to cover 3, to single high. And then here's our double team. The first one. Whew. So McCormick comes off, looking down. Look at his hands. First of all, he stands up. Steps with his left foot versus at the man. Steps with his left foot first. Oof. Just gets swim technique and ends up on his knees. Faetanu is coming. And Faetanu actually does a good job. But if you're supposed to come off and block the linebacker, your guard has failed you on this play. Now, here's the thing that I think is hilarious. I know these two, they're probably not supposed to go to him. They're probably supposed to go to the backside backer. Okay, I get it. But even if they are, I'm guessing there's no play that the Pittsburgh Steelers are trying to run where they say, let's not block either of the inside linebackers. Let's nobody block either one of them. I'm going to guess that they don't have that. But that's what happens here. Nobody blocks him. Now, again, that's horrific technique by Mason McCormick. Horrific. Head down, arms, and not even close to punching. Look at that. Not even close to punching. Gets swum, arm over, and he ends up on his knees. He's no help to this football play. Faetanu does everything he can, getting no help. On the other side, Frazier and Siamalu do a good job. with the double team. That's good movement. But they don't come off. I mean, that's great movement. But they come off late. That's a safety. Maybe it's the backside will. Yeah, it is. But somebody's got to block the front side. I think it's our main man, Jonnu. I think Jonnu, when he's pulled, I think he's got to turn up and block here. Here's the influence right here. I think they're wanting to run inside of Jonnu Smith, but Jonnu doesn't turn up. He goes out. Well, somebody has to block the linebacker. I mean, somebody has to block the play side linebacker. I don't know who it is. And then somebody has to block the middle linebacker. So and that's the whole thing. It's like, okay, if you want to say they work to here, okay, great. But if you're saying they work here, all right, or here, all right, it's not going to be both. Somebody has to block one of them. You know, so somebody is wrong. Somebody misses an assignment. So whoever it is, they both have to be accounted for in a run game. There's no play that the Steelers have where they're turning loose the inside, one or the other. But nobody blocks either one of them. Nobody blocks either one of them. And so this is what you get. And again, and I know he's wanting to go that way. Sometimes you got to run the daylight, though, Jaylen Warren. But by this time, he's committed. He's committed. It's just not a great play by the Steelers. Again, Mason McCormick got to do a better job, man. You can't end up on your knees when you're trying to double team somebody. It's terrible. Just terrible. Here we are again. Got Wash in the game this time. First down. Looks like we're in 11 personnel. Got a lot of people close to the line of scrimmage. We're going to send DK in motion. They shift. That's fine. Now they're coming. They're coming on the blitz. You see the backers come. Immediately, boom. You see him creeping up. See Malu. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, here's the thing. I think this technique is horrific. It is horrific. But because he is athletic, because he is strong, it gets the job done. Look at that. Head down. And when your head's down, come out of your stance, head down, trying to throw and try to headbutt. You get clubbed by, but you hold on, and he's inside. I'll take it. I don't like it. Like I said, the technique is terrible, but the effort wasn't. So I'll take it. Siamalu comes off. Backer comes in. Get up out of here. Zach Frazier, he's got the one. It's not great, but it's enough. It's enough. Keep your guy out of the play. McCormick comes off. He sees the backer. I'd like to see him be more aggressive. You see? He's just not aggressive. Go get the guy. Now, he gets knocked off here, which is not his fault. But go be aggressive and go attack him. Instead, he catches. Too much catching. Too much catching inside, but that's a hole. And, of course, his guy falls off, but it's not his fault. Like I said, he gets walled off by a defender because Siamalu has decided that he's going to take his linebacker 6 yards to the other side of the football field. He's decided you got to go over there. So I'll take it. Again, it's not perfect by 77, and you see him holding his arm. But when you just give the effort, man, just give the effort and do what? Get in the way. Get in the way. I'll take it. I'll take it. Here we got Wash and Hayward in the game. 12 personnel. A lot of people in the box for the Vikings here. Man coverage. Go back with Scotty Miller. Let's see what we got. Let's go. Possible double team. We don't see it. Now here, our man McCormick. We'll start here. McCormick and Faetanu. I like what McCormick does. He's going for the double team, but their guy steps wide. So, okay, but here comes the blitz. And it's immediate. You see him standing right here. He looks like he's coming right now. And he does. McCormick steps, redirects. You love to see him do more and get more of them and keep driving them. Because I feel like a good linebacker, and Pace is not a good linebacker for Minnesota, but if a good linebacker rips through that and possibly can make the play, but I like the effort. Just stick with it. Push, 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 and keep going, keep going, keep going, but he doesn't. Faetanu gets inside, and he gets Jonathan Allen. Allen's got him pressed, but Faetanu gets inside, and he stays attached. And that's how you do it. That is how you do it. Does not give up. I got you. Good job by Faetanu. Zach Frazier, you want to see him do more here on 55. He comes off, he sees him, but he gets off late. But again, you know what I always say? I mean, where's this initial contact? Four yards down the field, 3 yards down the field, it's a 4-yard gain. So, and Siamalu gets the one technique. He influences him, gets a little shove there. It's a good job inside. But we'll take 4 yards. Anytime you can get 4 yards, you'll take it. And look at our man Hayward comes across the screen. He's in the way. I mean, he gets busted up. There's no question about it. But at least he's in the way. At least he's in the way. DK gets down in there. Guys getting away. So, again, thank you, everybody, as always. We always want to look at the little intricacies. Look at the little things. Lord have mercy. Can't even talk today. As far as what the Steelers are doing as far as the inside run game, it's getting better. It's getting better. You know, just better technique each and every week. Continue to get better and be more physical. If they can continue to do that, the run game will come along. It will come along. It's taken a little bit, but as long as they get better each and every week and just continue to build, we will be fine. We will be fine in the run game. And it doesn't have to be the best rushing offense in the league. It just needs to be one that teams have to account for. The first 3 games of the season, teams didn't have to account for it. They just said, you're not going to run it. We don't think you can, and they couldn't. So, but we'll see as the season goes on, man. So appreciate everybody as always. Remember to continue to like, follow, subscribe, dig into those comments, and always hit that notification bell so you know exactly when Steelers Almighty content comes out. Until next time, aloha.